over the hill and all that. Carol Walker and the clan came by and looked at her house that she grew up in. She likes to do that whenever she's in town. That's always fun. She told me all about the symphony.
My sister's been to it a couple of times.
Yeah, things.
But too rich for my blood.
They used to give you a pass for volunteering. And that's how Leslie and I got it. I don't think they do that anymore.
Give out exhibits when they can sell it.
Nearly
But is that what you?
I have 71. What did you guys say?
Yeah, same.
I'm doing incognito tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle, would you like to lead us in the pledge of allegiance tonight?
Why don't you?
Is your incognito?
No, I'm incognito.
Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's gonna be a few minutes.
We have a
Rick, if you wanna sit.
Oh, I was just looking at everyone.
Oh, I see. Okay. I think we need to turn them around. Okay,
If an attorney.
hello, Justin. See where we're at here. All right, the meeting's been called to order. Michelle,
Here.
roll call. Annie. Brett.
Here.
Justin. Here. Tim.
The agenda.
Okay, have a motion to adopt the agenda as written by Tim, seconded by Brett. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay. The minutes of May 23rd first, please.
Move to approve the minutes, May 23rd.
That's a lot of it. I'll move to approve the minutes of May 23rd.
Justin made the motion. Are you seconding?
Oh, yes.
Actually, it should say 22nd
Oh.
on the agenda.
Yep.
Am I looking at the wrong one?
No,
No,
you're right.
22nd.
22nd. Do I have the minutes?
On the agenda, yeah,
That's
yeah,
correct.
The minutes? Okay.
yes. Okay, Justin moved to approve the minutes of May 22nd. Michelle seconded that. And ready for further discussion? Those in favor? The minutes of May 22nd's been approved.
Move to approve the minutes for June 5th.
Well, just start you, Mr. Snappy, tonight. I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes of June 5th by Justin, seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Those in favor? So then one, okay, passes 3-0, one abstain. Excuse me, ordinance 1508.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 1508.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve appropriation ordinance 1508 by Michelle, seconded by Brett. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Michelle,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Okay, is there anyone here tonight that would like to address the council? Public concern or anything? Dolly?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, we and council have a problem. The IGA building, of course, is a disgrace. It's falling down, the outside facade and things are getting weaker, and to me, the building is not only awful looking for all these people that are coming to our town, but dangerous. But what I'm here tonight to talk to you about is the roaches. The other day, a couple of my staff went to empty the trash can out there because it needed dumping. It was mounded up with different things. People dumped their cars in there, the residents put their stuff in there. And so they took a bag down there and took the top pile off. And then they carried it over to City Hall to put it in the dumpster over here. When they dumped it, there were thousands of roaches in it, which explains why I had a roach race me to my door the other day at the store, because I was going, it was a big booger about that big.
Who won the race, Dolly?
I did, because he's a dead roach now. I don't have roaches in my store. I pride myself on that. We try not to keep boxes around things that attract roaches and ground spiders.
So where was the bag at again originally before they brought to the dumpster?
It was a trash can right there by the IGA.
Okay,
And the roaches are coming from the IGA and probably from the drugstore, because it's full of water. It's a perfect breeding area. There's food, there's ways for them to even stay away from the birds, but not my foot. And so I need you guys to, I know that it's gonna be a while before the IGA gets settled on what you're gonna do with it. But in the meantime, is there some way that you can kind of control those roaches? One thing, if you want to get rid of the cans, that I know they're there for decorations, but if you just go ahead and put one of those dumpsters, the small ones out there, the full dumpsters that Exodus has, they would get emptied every week and cleaned once in a while. And then maybe we wouldn't have the accumulation of roaches in there like that. I know that.
And right now, we pull them out, our crew pulls them out and puts them somewhere, don't they, every week? Isn't that right?
Occasionally.
Not weekly.
That was Drew's job, and Drew's gone. I don't know who does it now, but
Well, this
It's been pretty full since before Memorial Day weekend, like to capacity, because it's just people are just shoving it in.
and a lot of it isn't just coming from our local people. It's coming from people that stop there and see someplace to empty their cars out, and appreciate the tourism, because we do have it, but they also empty out their cars, and so it mounds up pretty quick in about 2 or 3 days. And so probably if you don't feel like putting the dumpster there, what do you call those things? A dumpster cart?
Trash cards.
Crash cart. I mean, we have them on, ours are on wheels. It's really easy to deal with, handle. You lift up the lid and you throw your stuff in, then you put the lid back down and the bugs can't get in there. Right, and so that was a suggestion that I have. Otherwise, it's gonna have to get cleaned out every week, and not just dumped, but cleaned out, and then perhaps sprayed. It was cleaned out and sprayed this last time, so that might last a week or so. About half a can.
We'll get with
My staff
Texas
is very-
disposal.
Yeah.
We'll get with Texas disposal and see what we can do about getting
Yeah.
utility carts.
That would be great. Then my second concern is the old drugstore next to me. It's been neglected. It's a neglected building. Its roof is leaking pretty bad. It's starting to damage my building, which I am fighting to keep it as healthy as possible. And it seems to me we have ordinance for these things on Main Street. They're supposed to be put up for sale. They're supposed to be maintained, taken care of. And so,
Kind of like the Cross Building for the last 30 years.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, I don't recall them being on the Brownsfield assessment group. One directly across the street, next door to the grocery store.
They're not.
The man
Okay,
that
I didn't
owns
think
that
so.
building doesn't believe in federal assistance or federal grants or any of that stuff. I tried to interest him in a movement about 3 years ago that people would take the school buildings and do something with them, and he has ownership of those also, and
Okay.
they're going in disrepair.
I'll see to it that they get contacted about the
Yeah.
condition of the,
Especially the stone between my building and their building, and their roof needs to be addressed. Otherwise, I will go further as far as I need to go to protect my building.
yeah.
And I
think,
would like the help of the city to do that.
the reporting of the concern is good enough for me to get with Brian Furman, I believe owns that.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk with him
Thank
about that.
I brought bullet points so I could talk fast. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a public concern or comment? Okay, next up is the blighted properties we have in town. Is Nancy King here tonight?
I'm sorry she fell ill this afternoon, so she didn't come in. I'm in her bed, so.
Okay. I don't know what the council, who on the council has been by the King place and has checked it out the last day or two? Brett, what's your opinion?
I think they've cut down. I don't know what they had talked about with Becky, but I know they've done work there and cut down brush and hauled it off.
Okay.
But and without seeing Becky's report, I can't factually say anything.
And I went by there.
But I
at
know that they've
6:30.
been cleaning it up.
I mean, the cars moved and I mean, there was significant work done over the weekend.
All the brush is cut around that steeple
Oh, yeah.
and
I
gone.
went out there and looked at it as well, and in fact met Nancy King and her family out there. And we basically had a barbecue while we were talking. It seemed like we were there so long. But anyway, bottom line is, I think it's quite improved. Like I said, the vehicle's been moved. The vehicle is movable. And the property's been cleaned up. The brush had been removed. I know somebody earlier told me there was a brush pile still out there. And I think my comment was, they promised me they'd get it moved. And I haven't seen it since that first night, but it's been removed and everything looks okay to me. I'm happy with it, but
So I moved to drop. What is it?
To deem the resolution satisfied and the property abated.
I so moved.
to do what Todd said.
I so second. Oh.
Got it.
Okay, motion's been made to abate the property of Nancy King. I don't have the address.
Well,
I'll
to
look
deem
at-
it, deem it abated.
Deem the resolution satisfied and
Yes.
property abated.
Okay. The address again was what?
208.
Two- two-
Technically 208 Locust.
Locust,
208
okay.
Third.
Could go both ways because of the way it's facing.
Could be locust.
Okay, Justin, was he the
Brett
one?
made the motion.
Brett made the motion. Justin, and
Justin second.
Oh, Justin seconded.
Yeah.
Whoever.
any further discussion
It was double second.
on the King property? Okay, those in favor? Okay, you guys are clean. You're clear.
Thank you.
It was worth the trip out here tonight. I know for all this time you had to spend with us.
Is your building for sale, by the way? The building's for sale. Just letting everybody know.
Okay. And if the first offer of 89,000 or better, they'll take it.
Maybe not quite that much.
All right. Okay, next up, Joel Bryan.
Here's pictures of the previous.
Joel, I came by to see you, but I didn't know where the front door or back door was, so I didn't knock. Sorry.
Well, I was having troubles downloading Terry's pictures. There's the previous pictures.
We don't have any pictures from
Well, no.
prior to this
I couldn't get those.
5A. Okay.
I've got them on my phone if I can pass them around, pass that around.
Whose is this?
that was comparable properties.
I see,
I
okay.
think Becky had taken pictures of comparable properties. Those are the only two I could get to print. Like you sent me.
Does anybody want to take a quick review of the previous photos? Anybody else?
Here's my phone. If you want to swipe to the right, there's 5 pictures. You just hand those to Terry.
These are today.
This, like I said, swipe to the right.
I will speak first and say that I drove by and I have seen more progress to the property. It still has a little ways to go, but he has made much improvements in several since the last meeting, in my opinion.
From my observation, I would agree with you. Excuse me. Should we continue? At
What's
another,
the-
at another date?
Line item's been resolved. I mean, that's,
Most of them.
you
I think the fact that-
Hell's a lot better than day one. I mean, that's,
Yeah,
he's done work.
yes,
No question about that.
yes, I agree. So do you want to review it in 60 days, 30 days?
I give him
Because-
60 days just because of all the progress that he's made.
Yeah, okay.
I know that sounds extreme,
Well, no,
but I mean, he's cutting into it
he does work.
every
Didn't
time.
get home till after 5. And now we got a little more daylight for the summer hours, so we got a little more time in the evening. I don't have a problem with it. You guys,
Does it take a motion? Yeah. Just move to extend the existing resolution 60 days for continued abatement.
continue until the June 18th, June 14th
You mean
meeting.
August?
June, yeah. August 14th meeting. That's
So move.
a little more than 60 days, but that's okay.
Second.
Okay, who made the motion? Okay,
Tim made the motion.
yeah,
And Justin seconded.
yes. That is to extend the,
Extend the existing resolution
until,
60 days to.
and we'll meet
August
again,
14th.
we'll meet again August 14th, okay? All right, thank you for coming as well. Next up, Haley Waller. We had Oz Hauling come by
Here's pictures after the cleanup.
and they cleaned the place up. There's one item on there that I was told she was gonna have it removed, and it's still there. And that's a pile of tin. You'll see it in the backyard by the pile of tin was close to the overhang, the carport, so to speak. So I
She's
guess,
gonna use that pile of tin to put on her back porch.
okay, well, yeah, she had told us that she was giving it to somebody they were
And
coming to
yeah,
get it.
Ron Spread was interested in buying some. I don't know that a pile of tin is.
Well, it would have been hauled off if she wasn't there to tell them not to take that.
Well,
That's the only reason I'm pointing that out, is that we authorized her to keep it so she can get rid of it. And now you're saying she's gonna use it to attach it to her house, right?
that was the original plan, but then Ron Spread had asked her about buying some for our house. But I'm just gonna
working
say a pile
outhouse?
of tin is not
Let's hope not.
her biggest problem in that yard.
She wouldn't be the only person in town with a pile of something.
Exactly, that's kind of where I was going with that.
I agree with you.
Okay,
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
things
it's,
that have been added.
No, it's okay.
All right.
it's like,
I'm
the
sorry.
haulers did a good job.
So we need a motion to,
Oh, they did.
I don't know if we need a motion for
Well,
anything. for that.
you guys abated it.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
question to Todd, okay, our $800 fee, do I attempt first to bill them?
Yep.
And then if they don't pay it,
90 days.
Especially against Texas.
okay.
Okay,
It's just gonna be assessed on our taxes, is that right?
yes.
Or they can pay it up front.
I just couldn't hear what you said, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay, next up is Deb Ponton. This is a photo of,
Well, that one was sent earlier. Here's the ones I took today. The bigger one that was in with your packet, it was just a concern they were using that for an outdoor shower. But then those were the pictures I took this afternoon. Yeah, that galvanized area on the off the front of the front porch in the big picture.
Yeah, it's a grill. Just smoker house. My son's grill's in there.
And here's prior pictures.
I still haven't got that one building cleared down yet. But it's close.
I didn't drive by this property recently, but I have seen her doing work, so I'm still game to give her more time.
Tim, that's the only copy I have of those pictures. No, that you just stuck in. Oh,
I say I have the same
and I'm
copy in
sorry.
my stack.
I'm sorry. No, that's theirs. Yeah.
Who's
Oh, you were doing this on that?
I didn't think
confused.
I thought I just had one set of those
you
pictures.
passed that out, but I had the same one in my stack already. So,
I was busy today.
okay.
Sorry.
need some thoughts, folks.
That was a porch original line item, I guess, on the. That's all in here, but the porch looked like it had quite a few things on there, but that was the thing I noticed, I guess.
Well, I haven't been by the property either for a couple of weeks. Brett, when you said you've been by it most recently?
No, it's
No.
been a minute.
Okay. But in your opinion, progress is being made?
Well, yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so we need a motion here from somebody.
How much time do you want to give her?
Somebody throw it out there.
Well, we gave Joe Bryan 2 months, August 14th. Because he's making significant progress as well.
Well, his was making progress and you abated your property, so.
Well, Haley didn't show up at the last meeting to discuss that with us, so we had no choice.
I'm fine with 60 days here as well. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but August 14th. I'll move for continue this till August 14th.
Do I hear a second? Okay, your
Oh,
motion,
second.
okay. Extended to August 14th, motion by Justin, seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay. Deb, next meeting will be August 14th, so continue progress on your property, okay? Thank you for coming. Okay, department reports, Mary Jane and Julie Bisnet.
Megan can go first. Chris is technical.
Number one, last fall, winter, one or the other, you guys asked for $3,000 for some fire pits. We have not received the fire pits. When are they supposed to come? So on and so forth.
That deal fell through with the person that was supposed to provide them. And
Okay.
we have not been able to contact anybody else that does that kind of work for us.
Yeah, now we don't have the money. Okay, I'm just checking
Yes,
because we
yes.
could have used some of them down in our
Sure.
primitive area. So I
That's
was
that-
asking.
Yeah, that's fine. It's perfectly fine, but that's the update.
Okay, number two is I'm here to discuss, I gave you guys all a copy of our fees for Astra, what charged to our customers. The issue is that you guys, there is a policy on the cancellation for every day. I need a policy on the cancellations for holidays. You guys set in place a 4-day mandatory booking for holidays. And what I'm having now is that there are people that are booking the 4 days, but then they want to call and try to cancel part of those bookings for part of the days that they don't want to be there. I need, and I'm telling them they can't at this point, but I don't have a policy in place. I don't have anything in place stating that they cannot. Number two on that is that the same week as the holiday, if they call and cancel, I don't have any type of cancellation. Cancellation policy for that type of issue and what charges are, so on and so forth. The cancellation fee for normal call, I want to cancel, you guys have a fee of $10 that you set up with Astra when you set up the system of $10. So I don't know what you're wanting to do because where you did do a mandatory 4-day booking. I don't know how you're wanting that to go.
I have a quick question for you.
Yes,
This past holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend,
yes,
you had people reserve 4 days.
yes.
Did any of those campers cancel before the end of their 4th day?
They didn't show up.
They didn't show up.
They did not show up. But
Well, okay, and I don't know, this one, I had one and I put it in here, that we missed, there, a miscommunication. I don't know how that all exactly took place. It was reported to a council member that somebody said that they don't get their money back. Well, I don't think that was actually accurately said to them that way, but I know if it had gotten to me, I would have figured out a way to get some of their money back to them. But now that it is over, Astra puts into the system a no-show. The no-show policy is that you get nothing back. I can go in and fix it if I know how to do it, if I get notification beforehand. If I get notification after, I can't do anything. I have to have, and you guys give a refund of whatever you will allow. So that's why we're now to this point, I need some sort of policies.
sure. Now, the folks that,
And they have not contacted me.
but you know who they are and how to get a hold of them?
No, I don't.
You don't.
They're supposed to contact Mary Jane.
And that's
It's
been a
couple
week and a
from
half, 2.5.
Alma. They stopped me at work when I was up there and complained to me about it. And I gave them Mary Jane's number and told them to call between the hours and the days that Mary Jane would be there. And they have not done so.
Okay.
And that's been almost 2 weeks.
I do believe that situation, refunds warranted.
But I can't verify who they are if they don't call me.
No,
Well, they
no,
called
they-
to cancel
They called.
and said they couldn't cancel. So then they were gonna try to find somebody to camp out there anyway, and they couldn't find anybody to camp out there, so the campsites just went empty.
Mm.
They called in advance, is my understanding.
It was the same week.
And
It
word
was the
did not-
same week.
It was the same week.
Right,
So
but
It
that's
wasn't the day
why,
of or whatever, but it was during
Right.
the week.
and well, then
It depends on which spot it was. I had one that didn't show up in one area, and then I have the primitive area. So I needed to know where as to what theirs would be. So I can't I don't want to say the name out loud right now, but I need to know, because if it's one spot, they will definitely are entitled to a nice refund. If it's the other spot, they're not going to get much due to the cancellation fee that is already in place by you guys. So it's kind of one of those up in the airs. So I kind of need something from you guys for holidays, for future reference.
Right. And we have a future reference holiday coming up here very soon.
Yes.
Well, I think if they, like the person that called a week in advance to cancel, they should have gotten their money back, as far as I'm concerned.
They will not get at least $10 back. I think, me personally, I think they should lose at least one day, because you guys do mandatorily make them book for 4.
Are you talking holidays or are you just talking in general?
In general, not holidays.
Because in general,
agree
you
with you in
mandatorily lose $10.
But for holidays
Oh.
where we require 4 days and they're so sought after
Right.
and booked up in the first 4 hours of the opening of the season, that I would say no cancellation on those holidays.
Or
Now,
what
correct-
your policy is on return of money.
okay, correct me if I'm wrong. We do not have a cancellation policy in writing yet, do we?
That's why I'm here.
I know, well, you're writing, yours is because of how do you handle what happened?
No. I'm wanting for future.
Well, just a minute. It's because of what happened that brought you here tonight.
No, that is not accurate. I have been talking about this before what took place.
Okay. I don't understand why we didn't get a cancellation policy put in there to begin with before the year started.
Well, you guys should.
We should have. Yes, I agree. We should have.
We did not
We have
have
a
this as an
regular,
issue
not
until
holiday.
you guys actually set in place this year the 4-day mandatory for holidays.
For holidays, right?
That's the only reason that I'm here. Prior to that, there was not an issue because you guys had it set on your cancellation that they lost the $10. Now that you have the 4-day mandatory booking, I need a different setup policy for holiday on cancellations.
The only thing I could think of is, of course, we say they're sought after because it's a holiday. So, in theory, we could just turn right around and book it over again, if we have
But if they
that $10. But if we have a little bit of time, so like a week, what is that? I don't know. But, if it's a week out, I would say, take the $10 per the normal cancellation policy and let people know, hey, we've got a spot open for the 4th or whatever. But if it's closer than that, then yeah, maybe there needs to be an extension of our policy that is, not a day or two we charge them for or something.
Can somebody draft a policy to approve at the next meeting?
Do you ever have people ask to be put on a call list?
I have had that. And I did make a call list for Memorial Day. But the person that they're discussing did not call me and cancel.
Yeah.
So I assumed that they were coming in, so I didn't call the person who was on the waiting list.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they deserve to lose their penny on the top. Because I remember talking to that person and they were going to see about getting somebody else to be in there to take over the spots. And I'm like, okay. I didn't tell them they weren't going to get any money back. So, to me, it was just kind of, their problem.
Okay. I agree with what Julie's saying. If they did not call in to cancel, then it's a done deal.
Yeah.
And that I agree.
We didn't have an opportunity to
And
rent.
that I agree, but that wasn't their complaint to me. Their complaint to me was that they called in and was told that they weren't going to get any money back. So then
And that was a
they
lie.
didn't cancel and they tried to find somebody.
I did not tell them that.
Every hotel I've ever dealt with is always the first night is like, if you don't tell them you're not going to show up they ding you for the first night, then they go ahead and cancel the rest for you. But
Now-
I'm not sure if that's based on any law or anything.
Now, I do want to say this. This last weekend, we had the symphony. I was totally booked up in the top with all of the power. I had one that was supposed to come in on the 7th. On Saturday morning, they had not shown up. I called them because I wanted to make sure I had not missed them calling us and saying, hey, I want to cancel, and I not get the message. So I called them. They had a death in their family. I went into the system to do a cancellation. I expressed to them at that time, I am unable to do a refund on the 3 nights that you did not show up, and I did not know you were not coming because they did not call. I said, but I will refund the 2 nights, Saturday and Sunday night, that you still have booked. So we are willing to work with you. I did call and to do that. So she was very happy that I did go ahead and refund those 2 nights, but I did not refund the 3 nights and Astra tried to do an automatic no refund at all.
Right.
So I went in because I have that ability with my admin to go in and alter that. So I was able to refund her the 2 nights, but their system is set up that if they don't show up for the first night, they get nothing. So it depends on who's. So
But in September, it's gonna be switching over to Shutterfly,
Firefly.
whichever one it is.
Whatever fly it
It's
is.
gonna be switching
Okay.
to
Another system,
So-
yes,
But for right now, we need a cancellation policy in
Yes. for holidays.
place. Okay, I don't propose that we hash it out right now and figure out what to say, that we do this on the next meeting on the 26th. That's my suggestion. Give us time to write a policy up.
Next, I think that's
That's
something
only
that
6
you guys will have to do.
That's
2
only
weeks.
6 days before the next holiday.
Yeah, how much time do you want to spend on it tonight, Brett? Richard, you got a question?
No,
Just an
I don't
idea.
have an answer to that, but
Okay.
I mean, I was just pointing that out.
Yeah, I know. Richard,
An idea, Terry, might be to get a copy of the cancellation policy used by Kansas State Parks
mhm.
and distribute that and amend that to your liking. But that might be a place to begin.
Sure.
I think that is a good idea.
It's only for holidays, is
To
that,
get-
am I understanding that correctly?
Look at other parts
Cancellation
of
policy is only for holidays.
I suggest.
Yeah, because I just need to know how much you guys are willing to reimburse
Sure.
where you've done the 4-day mandatory
So
booking.
answer this question for me. If someone books for a 4-day holiday and they cancel, do you have the ability to go into Astra at that point and show that the property's available now
Yes,
for another camper?
yes,
You can do that as soon as you get word of it.
yes.
Okay.
Now, I can't guarantee that if it's the same week that we can get it booked out, we get it rebooked. That's where I'm basically here for, is that last week.
That's my
Before
fear,
that,
is that you can get it.
I'm pretty sure we can basically always get it booked. I can't always guarantee that last week that we can get that booked. Most people have that last week. They've changed
Decided
all
where
of their
they're going.
plans.
Sure. No, I
So-
fully understand that. I'm just thinking of something similar to the standby list or the will call list.
And we do keep
Yeah,
one.
you're-
We do keep one when
List
if we
is a good
can. So it just
Why can't the policy be if somebody comes in and takes the spot, you refund it? If they don't, they don't.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
and I'm okay with that, but that's something you guys have to do.
Right.
I mean, the risk is assumed.
Yeah, because once they don't show up.
But I also needed to state that they cannot call and say, well, because I'm coming for this many days, I want to cancel the rest of the days.
No.
I need it. Can I?
And when I first heard that, that's what I thought they were doing, booking 4 days, staying 2, and then canceling the.
And I've had some try to do that,
That's what I thought she meant.
but I've had some try to do that. as well.
And that would be a definite no.
So I needed to also state that they can't do that either.
So
So,
between now and the 26th,
Yeah, well, I mean, if the policy is that you're reserving it for 4 days, it's mandatory. If you advise your office more than a week in advance of the fact that you will not be there, if you open it up and find somebody to reserve it, they are forgiven.
other than the $10 cancellation
Yeah,
fee.
other than $10 cancellation fee.
Okay.
If they don't replace them, if you guys can't find somebody to replace them, then they're on the hook. It's just as simple as that. It's basically you're taking a chance that somebody comes in and picks up. And that's just, I mean, I don't know that it needs to be
I
written
like
up as a
that because we're
policy.
not stuck losing money with empty spots.
personally, I think it should be in writing so that we have it. for
So do
future
I, so
reference
that
as
when
well.
people complain, I can say this is,
Yes, and in the meantime, between now and say the 26th, if someone calls in and asks about a cancellation, you have an answer.
yes,
Okay,
because July 4th is coming up. And I don't think I'll have any because most of those are all that come in the same year,
okay,
year after year.
okay.
Yeah,
But
same people. Look,
Yes.
all of them.
yes, and it really is.
I know.
Okay, we'll have a policy up by the 26th for you, okay? I have one final question for you, has nothing to do with cancellation. Did campsite 2's electrical get fixed?
Yes,
Okay.
it did. And number 4, LF4 got fixed too.
Okay. And I'd like you to do me a favor, Julie, since you're in charge of the bait house. Once you get notification that you've got a problem that needs to be fixed, would you contact me, please? Because it was like a week after this had been noted before I found out about it.
Well,
I just want to
yeah, I
know.
messaged Mike and then he came out and fixed it right away. So,
Well,
but yeah, I'll let you know.
please do. Thank you.
Yeah, because it was, he just came up within the next couple of days.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I will.
All right. Thank you.
I'll do you and him.
Okay. Thank you, Mary Jane. Appreciate it. Did you have something to add to what?
I got two
I have
other.
something to add while we're
things.
talking about the electrical, which is the electrical box that plugs in the camper that where Julie's camper is plugged in is still not working either. It's still doing the same thing last year. It shuts off.
Is that because it's not
It's
big enough
because
amp?
it
There's a
shuts off
gap
when
at the
it
bottom
rains.
of it. It's an
and snows.
outside plug-in, but there's a gap at the bottom of it. So moisture gets in there and then it doesn't always work. I'll have to go out and push the button.
Reset.
So I think it needs a new.
But you could push
Box.
the button for hours before it dries out enough to actually reset.
Okay.
How old's the box? Is it one of the new ones, like the
It's
ones
just
we
a
got
little
few years
old
ago?
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have
Yeah,
on the
that's
back
fine.
patio.
This is 110 plug-in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
My bringing up was Jesse, the game warden, told me that he came out there and got the
Buoy.
buoy out of the middle of the lake, so bless his heart. And he said he would come and put the buoys out there where they belong because he knew where they belonged if we would provide the chain and the weights on those buoys, because I have 5 of them in my storage unit and 1 sitting by my dock. So,
I'm in favor of that.
Yes,
Let's have,
please.
Mike build the weights because Mike knows how to build them.
well, I think they just had a 5-gallon bucket with
They put holes in it and they put spikes
Right.
through it
And concrete.
fill it with concrete.
right.
Is 5 gallons big enough if they're
Sometimes they
drifting
use
away?
2.
Well,
It's kind of hard to
Jesse
handle
was
them
saying
away.
Jesse was saying that if they had a
Yeah,
longer
heavy.
chain on them,
It's bigger.
they would stay better.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that, please?
Jesse said if they had a longer chain on them,
Mhm.
they would stay better. If they have a shorter chain, apparently they skim across the lake.
Did he say how long the chain that he would suggest?
He did not, but I would absolutely, I have his number, so I would absolutely be happy to call him and ask him
Great,
how long his length need to be.
because we don't want him floating around again.
Right. Right, because they do need to be out there.
That'd be great.
Now I had a wake boat out there today, and not sure where we ended up on that. Are they just-
Wake boats are allowed, but they're not allowed to be used for wake producing surfing. They can't be causing them big old waves to come off the boat.
Okay,
They're still doing it. We had one out there today doing it.
but they didn't have like 4-foot waves though, because isn't that what they can do, like a 4-foot wave or?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Part of their waves are under and then they come up.
Yeah.
And the problem is their boat list to the side, it goes down. And their
the
waves
waves.
just go out. And
Like one of the things that I'm trying to figure.
it just,
Were they pulling a skier? Or
Yes.
They were pulling a skier
Yes.
at that time.
yes. So I don't know if you guys need to revisit that. There is no way to use that boat if you're going to do it as a use it for skiing, tubing, whatever. I don't know if there's a way to do it without it being
Is
used
it a lake,
as.
is it a lake resident?
This
No.
one is there on a 5-day permit, but the way you guys wrote this,
It's just,
it's not an
Surfing.
ordinance. So it does not say that they can't.
It's a rule. It wasn't an ordinance. It is a rule that wake
Right.
boats were not allowed for
Ah.
wake boating purposes. It
Wake
was,
boats are allowed on the lake, they just can't be waking around the lake.
right,
And they-
Right.
Can't
they
go.
run
And we
waves
can't,
up and
we
down.
don't know
I'm supposed
how.
to stop that.
That's
You're
right.
supposed
We
to tell
don't know
them that
how
they're not
well.
allowed to do those wake raves. But
But-
they can pull.
Gotcha.
But here's the problem.
Okay.
There's
could I-
no way
could I
to
make
not
a-
do it.
Can I make a statement here? Every time we do this, the wakeboarding posse isn't here to talk about this. And we end up being the conduit for a conversation that nobody's in the same room for. And you're gonna get this whiplash back and forth.
They were here the last time though, and they agreed to what we said, that their wake boats are
Yeah.
allowed to pull tubes and everything else. They're just not allowed to use the wake mechanism of their wake boat to
This
make
even
the
this
waves.
isn't even a wake move.
That's exactly
But
what
I've
we had
also had
already
some
went
call and say
over.
there is no wake mechanism on their boats. It just is an automatic.
Well, all I'm
Then
saying
there-
is
then
that
that's
there's
Listen
what's
up,
not
everybody,
allowed.
please.
there's gonna be a
They
debate
cannot
about
wake.
the policy or anything like that. Let's have it, let's set it on the agenda, have it at a meeting. and
Okay, then I need that in a policy. I need that in
a
a,
motion that was made and passed. I mean, that's a rule. A
Mhm.
motion that's made and passed is a rule, correct, Todd?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, but
So
it
like
doesn't
rule.
actually say that if it does not, if,
Okay.
and I understand that, but it doesn't, when I'm trying to express to somebody, they're not getting it. I tried to explain to somebody the other day that is coming out, that if they cannot use it as that type of a boat, they can use it as a regular boat, so on and so forth. They cannot use it in that capacity.
I don't know anything about the boats, but I think there's some made with a button that can turn off the waking and then they can use it as a normal boat, and then some that don't have that mechanism to be able to stop the
I
waking.
thought it was weights in propulsion.
There's a big bladder in the stern that you fill with water to get the stern to go down, and that's what creates the big wake. Now, there may be other boats that have some kind of a button. I've never heard of that.
They
Well,
were
that's just
pulling
it.
around
You-
a little.
I mean, isn't that the answer? If you have a boat that takes on water, so make it ride lower. You can't use that feature on a lake.
I want to be clear on one thing. You said they were pulling a skier. Well, then they weren't using the wake feature.
No, they were.
Well, if they're
That's what it's
surfing,
made,
they're,
yeah, it's,
they may be on a tow rope.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Tubing. They were pulling tubers. And when I seen them, I didn't think that they were doing that bad. Mary Jane said earlier they didn't have the tuber on there and they were ripping and tearing. But
They had
as long as
that-
you're
that
ripping and
board,
tearing,
that surfboard
over
one.
in the big part of the lake, it's not that big a deal. Now if they rip and tear in the
Well, that's the
coast.
thing, you can't pick and choose. There's just no waking period. Whether it's on this end or that end, shallow, deep, no houses, 20. There's just no waking
Well, and
period.
have we had our buoys there in the no wake zones where they're supposed to be, they would know that.
Well, call your friend Jeffy and get that chain
I'm
length
gonna.
and we'll take care of it.
Doesn't Jesse live out the lake?
Yes, he does.
Okay. All right, we'll,
I did not get
the rule is right now, as it stands from the motion that was made, no wake boats for purposes, they can still get a permit to have the boat out there. They just can't use it for surfing and creating the monster sized wake that's been a nuisance to other boaters.
They can't use the devices on the boat to make that happen. Whether it be taking on water, filling up a tank, buttons.
Well, then I have a question. What am I supposed to do about that?
The only thing you can do, Julie, is
Tell them it's not to do it.
when they come in,
Yeah, well,
you can't, you
That's
can't,
not all
that's against the rules, and
Okay, so 5 days later when they come to get the
That's
boat
right.
out of the water,
then they get the boat out of the water. You
I'll
guys
tell
mark
'em,
down.
shame on you.
No, you
How
mark
are
it
they,
down. You
if they
take
have
pictures,
a 5-day
and they never come
permit,
back.
are they parking their boat? Because they'd have to bring it off.
No, they're parking them at the B&Bs. The BRBs.
So, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it.
So you know
No,
where to go to
that's-
tell them.
That's correct. I mean, we don't have the power to deputize you and have you.
Exactly.
You know,
So I'm just
take
gonna
'em
go
to
up
jail
there
or
and act
anything.
like, not a nice person.
It sure would be nice if we knew which VRBO they're parking it at, because I think that,
They'd register it to an address, right?
No, not on their 1 day or
Nope, they
5
put
day
it on their
permits.
own address.
the only thing you can do is like Todd said, just write down the information and the next
They-
time you see them, inform them
When
of
they
the
pull
rule.
up- Yeah, when they
For
pull
the
up,
violations,
no, when
restrict
they
you
pull it out, say this is the last time you're on this lake.
if they violate it.
Okay.
After you warn them and they violate it, then that's the last time.
You can say it very nicely, but you say.
and if you want to find a way to figure out what VRBO they're staying in, I would be very interested in passing that information on.
Now, one of the BRBOs actually was passed along, and that's why somebody called and asked on that, because they passed along what you guys had passed the first time about not allowing them on the lake. So
Well,
they contacted.
every one of them is required to give the rules of the lake
Right.
to their tenants.
Correct. So that one did pass along. So I don't, some are, and I don't know if they all are, but I know that one did.
Okay, shall we move on at this point? Thank you. We'll see you on the 26th. Aspen, are you here tonight? Aspen, Egbert, anybody have any information on her animal control report?
I mean, when I talked to her Friday,
She went
she
to
said
the
she
zoo
would be
today.
there, so.
Oh, Mary Jane.
Then on Friday or Thursday, whatever day it was, she was planning to be here, so I'm not sure that today.
No show. Okay, clerk treasurer's report, please.
I'll make it very quickly as possible. Does anybody have any questions on the treasurer's report that I attached to your email last week? Next thing, there's a picture, Doug Clark at the lake that sent in this picture, has a dead tree, it's on city property. He's asking permission at his expense to cut that down and remove it.
Wait till.
Yeah, wait till Brett comes in here. Brett,
Oh, Brian.
you have a photo in your packet of
Yeah.
what appears, what I thought we were gonna talk about a dock and a boat, but it's
Oh,
not.
yeah,
It's a tree. It's a dead tree.
Easier subject.
And the resident wants to cut that tree down at their expense and remove it. They're asking for our blessing for that.
I'll move to approve.
Okay. What's the person's name?
Doug Clark. Rocky Valentine had called. Apparently he'd worked with Becky. Was Becky public officer a little bit at the lake or something?
I think one time
Well, anyway.
with Robin.
He is licensed to trap beaver and
Wait a minute, did they vote on the approval?
Did we?
Oh,
Oh,
Did we?
no.
No, we
Maybe
didn't.
not.
We
Sorry.
we had a motion and
in a
a
second.
motion by Brett
Brett, seconded by Justin.
and further discussion. Those in favor? Okay.
Rocky Valentine was just reaching
Okay.
out to see if he was still good with the city to continue to trap beavers and take care of poisonous snakes. He's licensed both with Department of Wildlife.
I am more than in favor of that.
Okay.
Take care of. What,
Does that
give them a
mean
little
kill?
place to live?
Feed them and
Give them.
Well, he
a
traps the
house?
beavers.
Give him
I don't
some-
know about poisonous snakes. And then I've had a couple lake residents after the fees were adjusted to reduce from $30 to $20 for the non-motorized. Lake residents had called and asked if they would get that $10 refund.
negative.
Negatory is my vote.
Okay, I told them I would ask.
They can look forward to the new price when they renew, I guess.
Okay,
If I saw more kayaks out there with stickers on them, then I'd probably be more willing.
Yeah.
what about 83? And then
Yeah, it's a total of about
Registered-
$1,000.
registered.
You have to
$30.
register him to get the refund.
There was 83 that registered the 30 and not 83 people called and asked for a $10 refund. Okay. That
Very
was
good.
all I had.
Thank you. Next up is reviewing purchase requests. Brett, you're on the clock.
Oh yeah, I just went before the holiday and the symphony came in. I got 6 bags of mulch from the lumber yard to remulch the area, the entrance sign up here, the stone sign. So I weeded it and mulched it. I put it under my name because I didn't have it approved from the council to get it. So I was just putting it on there to have it approved for the council to pay for the 6 bags. If you don't, I mean, I guess I'll pay for it myself. But in saying that as well, I need also an extra 6 bags added on there for the park because we had 8 roses donated. I forget what class it was, but it's in remember 85?
84.
1984. And we planted the roses around the flagpoles at the memorial, and we had to get mulch for that as well. And we used 6 bags there.
What's the
So
total
it's a
bill?
total of
What were you,
12
7?
bags. I didn't get a total of the bill, just it's 12 bags of mulch.
16. I don't have a problem with it. I just need receipts for that.
Bailey will have those.
Okay.
Okay.
I move to reimburse Brett for the cost of the mulch.
You don't have to reimburse me because I didn't pay for it. I just had him write the ticket to me.
So the lumber yard will change
Well-
the ticket.
Instead of writing it to the city when I didn't have it approved, I
Cross
had
out
him
Brett's
write it to
name
me.
and. City.
So authorize the purchase,
So,
the payment of 12 bags.
okay,
I
that,
think they were $3.97.
Second.
Okay, a motion is made to approve 12 bags of mulch from Eskridge Lumber by Michelle, seconded by Justin. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, it's approved. Now, what I've been waiting on is the next speakers, and that would be Janet Williams with Flint Hills Regional Council Brownsfield Assessments, and she brought a young man named Ricky Stanton. Is that right? Bender. How'd I get the other name? I don't know.
Because he works for Stantec.
Oh, Stan Tech. That's what I'm thinking. My last name's City Hall, so I understand the confusion.
let Rick go first and talk about today.
Yeah, just real briefly, I'm Rick from Stantec. We've been working on behalf of Flint Hills Regional Council doing the phase 1 site assessments. We've done them for 9 parcels along Main Street here. Our report is done. Mayor Cook has a hard copy over there. Each property owner, we had an opportunity to meet with each property owner today and go through the phase 1 report with them and talk about whether or not they should or would like to proceed with a phase 2 site assessments on their properties. Probably about half have said yes or no, and half are still thinking about it. So
They do understand, I'm sorry to interrupt you, they do understand there's no cost to them for this assessment, right?
they do, yeah. But they're thinking about, okay, what happens if we take soil samples and we find that there's contamination there? Then what happens? So
Another one of the testing
That-
is
that
limb
sort
is
of thing.
point as well, so that's kind of scary to try to.
I understand that, but
Right.
I would like to think that they would not want that stuff in their property.
yeah,
If it's there, they need to get rid of it.
I think it's more they're not wanting to be forced to financially do that cost.
Yes, the
They're a
financial
little
aspect.
hesitant, trustworthy wise, that they're not gonna be come after for it.
Well, lead-based
Yeah.
paint, you're supposed to treat it as if it is unless you know that it isn't. I thought that was the rule.
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, but we're
that's-
getting a little further than that on these things too, where we're talking about oil spills and
Yeah,
contamination of soil and stuff, and you could get into quite an expense there.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, unless the cleanup was subsidized, and that's,
right.
But-
So yeah, we've talked about that too, and what could be if something is found, what could be done at that point. So I guess we're waiting to hear back from probably about half of the property owners on that. Jana also we've also talked about whether or not they would like a structural assessment of properties. EPA provides that service, and I think it's about the same. About half of the people think it's a good idea currently, and half are thinking about it. So we don't have an answer on that. So
But once we do, we'll get them started.
yeah.
Excuse me, real quick, an update to the council. In the beginning of these assessments, the Cross building was not on the list of having assessments done. Everybody knows which building I'm talking about, where the walls are laying all over the place.
It's no longer the Cross building though.
Well, I'm using that as a reference so everybody knows what I'm talking about. It was sold to their nephew, and I understand that he now has contacted, or you guys have been in contact with him, and he wants to proceed with the assessment project. So I just wanted to update the council, let them know that that's one additional spot that's added to our list that wasn't on the list to begin with.
And hopefully, I mean, if we see Mr. Furman that owns the schools and the old Sodas and Stuff building, we can still get him on there as well, if we can get him to do it.
We can
So
still,
if you see him around, like, I think we should really just ask him and talk to him about it so he feels more comfortable. Maybe if he's I don't know. We should just put in the effort there if you see him around.
Well, I know Sodas and Stuff, there's been multiple conversations on selling that property, and I don't know, it just seems to hit a snag every time we go to look at it, so.
and this,
I heard he was selling it as a threesome now, so it would be the two schools plus that in one package.
interesting.
I could have heard wrong, but that's what I was told.
Well, I don't have a problem getting in touch with Brian Furman and discussing these things with him. However, I will not be able to do that prior to the next meeting that we have in June rather. I will not be able to do that before June 26th, but I will get in touch and see what we can do about all that.
and it's not over. I mean, we can always take on new sites.
Right.
So, and we're also applying for a bigger grant in this fall. So we're gonna go for the max of $1
You
million.
bet.
So,
You bet.
we can help people still going
We
forward.
could have one heck of a Christmas party with $1 million.
It'll be regional.
Oh,
That's for the
okay,
region.
all right.
But, so, I had and I just had a couple other things. I heard from the market study group,
Mhm.
and they are finalizing their draft. And they did have a couple of questions. I don't know if you have the answers tonight, but I can send it
to Lisa. They were asking if there had been any other actions or plans that were created since the 2019 comprehensive plan, specifically regarding any housing or revitalization projects. I did
I
not
don't
know
think
of
there's
any.
anything.
Okay. Okay, so that's going to be done by the end of this month, and hopefully, and they have the date for their agenda in July, to be on your agenda in July.
Yes.
And then after that, we will start getting them going on an area plan, so that should be really interesting, productive.
I had a question. Do you remember where it was?
No. On the area plan or the market study?
The market study, that, thank you. Do you have any preliminaries like 49%, 51.5% of low to medium
Oh, the
income?
LMI?
Mhm.
I do not.
Okay,
But
but
I
that
would-
will come
I-
out at about the same time as that. Isn't that? Are they doing that, or is that someone else
Are you talking about, you're talking about CDBG grants?
with the
That's
LMI?
LMI
Yes,
requirements.
yes, the requirement there.
Are you talking about a specific?
No,
Are
not
you-
nothing in general.
And were you talking to Holly about that?
Yes.
Okay.
I just, for some reason, when you started speaking, I was connecting that because you made a
She
comment
was-
about a percentage of something. So, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that's what she's talking about. But that's why I asked, but that's fine. Because I don't think that report's due out till September. The final report on that one.
I am not sure because
And that's okay.
I have let Holly handle CDBG.
Sure, yeah.
So,
Based on 2020 census, and it's just now getting done in 23. Is that
I think they did a new one and
okay?
it's being in the process of being updated and it won't be finalized, I thought, until later this summer, maybe as early as September.
Okay. It's like Jesus.
Yeah, it would be if they're 3 years behind, it'd be slow.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we're supposed to, if we apply for any CDBGs, it has to go with the one on record unless we personally go out there and do our own. Like a couple of y'all did a few years back.
Yeah, but even with that formula, there was different degrees of LMI, different brackets, so to
Yeah.
speak. And I can't remember what they were, but if it was like 51 to 60, you got so many points. If it was 61 to 70, you got more points, that kind of a deal. So it might even be advantageous to still do our market study and improve our
Number.
population study to improve that number beyond whatever is listed. But
Jan, I didn't mean to take you away from your conversation, so continue.
no, well, I was just letting you know that we're gonna start the area planning after that.
Mhm.
And that we have requested Stantec since they know your community and they've all been here many times, so to just be consistent with the consultant sort of.
Jana, what did you just say? The whole last bit, I couldn't hear
That,
you.
oh, sorry, that we're doing a market study.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be completed, and then we're gonna start an area plan for downtown. And that I have requested from Case Tab that, Stantec is one of their consultants, so we could continue with the same consultant that already knows your community.
And next time you guys come and visit for something like that with folks, we'll make sure you got like an hour break so you can get some lunch from our.
If it's okay.
There's just no place in the county that's open on
No,
Mondays.
Well, we didn't
Oh,
start.
are you kidding me?
No, I am not.
Don't come on.
Gambino's.
Don't come on
Mondays
Monday.
are right.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Becky's closed
Dolly didn't let us start. So.
and yeah.
Well, good. Bologna sandwiches do come in handy once in a while, don't they? Or whatever you had. I'm just
Next time I'll
teasing.
just take them out to the house and feed them.
There you go.
That's all I had.
Okay, well,
The
thank
bakery.
you
It's been a
for
really good
enduring
day.
our council meeting until we got down to you guys. Appreciate you coming out and talking to all the folks and look forward to seeing you again
Never been.
at the end of phase 2.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
Great,
right.
thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
the one that's kind of across from Gambino's, that old.
All right, next on the list is new city business prorated late fees.
That's Tim.
Hey, Terry,
Prorated.
could I add something to the conversation we're having about the census? We have had several new families move into this community with children. I feel like our census has improved remarkably. They don't want to live in Topeka and in cities, and so you're not just seeing man and wife coming out here, man and wife and children, several families. So I think our census
I'm
would
going to
be-
some running around town, so hopefully
Yeah.
they'll be part of this survey.
would be great.
Okay, Tim, you're up. Prorated late fees.
You asked me to put that on the agenda. when they're prorated after a certain day for boat fees at the lake? Is that what you're talking
I'm
about?
sorry, I wasn't prepared at all for this.
Put it on the next meeting, the lake meeting.
I thought we already said we don't do prorating.
Yeah.
We stopped it last year.
It's on the website, on the.
It is, and
Astra or
we need
something
to
like
take
that.
it
How do you
off.
take that off?
Well, but when you guys passed that with all the fees, the proration wasn't addressed in that,
Was or was not?
was not. So, but I can put it on for next meeting. Isn't that what you were talking about, Tim?
No, I thought that what I was wanting was to make sure that it's not on the website anymore, on the Astra, saying that
Oh.
it's available, because it's not available. I mean, I don't know that we need to have further discussion, do you?
No.
I just wanted to make sure that it's not on Astra any
Okay.
longer.
And it's also on the, not just Astra, but I thought it was
Well-
on like the lake, the city
Maybe our
website
city
under
website.
lake
Well,
or
the
something.
resolution with all
I
the
wish Mary
fees,
Jane hadn't left because she,
the resolution with all the fees that we took time to discuss, the proration was not eliminated at that time.
Oh.
But did we do it last year with just a simple motion in a meeting
I
like
mean,
towards the
it
end of the
very
year?
well could have been, but
I don't
we
know.
did
I'll
it,
look it up.
we
for
did it
next
before
meeting.
Memorial Day, I think, Justin, because we wanted to nip it in the bud
I
when it
think
was
right
brought
now
up.
it's like September. If it's after September or something, you get a 50% discount or something.
Yeah, I kind of remembered. I kind of don't, but I don't know.
Okay.
I care less either way, I guess.
The
as far
prorate
as-
was, it started July 1st. And so the problem with that, if a lot of people would wait till July 1st to get their boats to get at half price. And then there was another prorating September. So there was two different proratings. And if you don't make it out in the early thing of the season, then you're getting the
discounts.
The lesser.
There was a lot of people that waited till the second holiday to get that.
I thought it was after July 4th, so there was only one major holiday left, but I don't know. I mean,
I thought that we pushed it back after the Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Lisa's gonna look it up.
All of
Sure.
them have.
it still makes sense to me to have something prorated after Labor Day, but
You can, as far as I'm
After, yes.
concerned, you can
I'm
set
not-
us on.
I'm not
tell us
too
what
opposed
that
to
is.
that.
yeah, give them half off. What the heck?
Okay.
I do not
I'm
ask
not
for.
hearing fish, nobody
replies.
else is out here anyway, so
Ask them not to reply.
Yeah.
That's fine.
as long as it's after the holiday.
Okay, Lisa, will look it up and get word to you. Foul ordinance.
I
We talked
attempted.
about last week,
I was okay with everything.
I attempted.
and I am too with what I saw.
And this is just for foul, we're not addressing other things? Like the
Right,
goat?
this was just the Megan Taylor that asked
Well, I wanna go.
for ducks.
Chicken and duck.
Because-
Those are foul smelling.
You wanted
Well,
to
but
do
you,
what? You wanted to do what?
well, these are just,
I thought this was gonna be more like everything, we were talking about everything in general, but it's specific to just the foul.
Chickens and ducks.
Yeah.
Cause I wanted to bring up the goat.
Does anybody have a problem moving the number from 8 up higher than 8?
You know, I don't. And my reasoning is, if anybody wants to know,
For replenishing the old.
replenishing the
I
old.
understand. I didn't know if
After the third,
I'm not a
fourth year,
chicken
their
farmer,
production
but
I know, I
reduces
never heard of
considerably.
Love that, yeah.
we got, what, 4 in the 3 sets of 4 that are 3 different ages. Is that how it works? Would
Well,
be ideal.
Uh,
What would be ideal? 3 sets of 3.
Or they're like,
For us, minimum of 10, maximum 12, but 10 because they're not all going to croak at the same time. But if we're able, let's just take the people that have 8 right now. When 2 of them die, you can go get 2 more. You can get 2 more, but it takes 6 months before they start laying eggs. And sometimes they don't even make it that age because the 6 older ones peck them to death. I mean, that happens. You have to separate them. But if you know a chicken is on its way out, like we do, we've got chickens that are going on 4 years old now, and we've got some that are 2 years old. But we know the 4-year-olds are about to be gone, and they're already having a reduction of egg laying right now because of their age. It would be ideal to get 2 more now, bumping us to a total of 10, because by the time these other 2 are up at the laying age and we've kept them separated from the other 2 are probably going to be gone.
Is there any recommendation? I know like with horses, you're supposed to have
5 acres.
5 acre. Well, I mean, just for their health, is there recommendation on the size of a coop for 10 chickens as opposed
I've never
to?
seen anything
I
on
just was
that.
curious. I'm kind of like Tim. I don't know
We
anything
should look
about
that
it.
up and see.
Well,
I mean, I just wonder.
I know Marcia looks that stuff up every day. So, honey, look at this. Let's do that. No, quit showing me this stuff.
But we should know
she
that
does.
so that we know what space that they would have to have and require for that amount.
I'll get on that too. Look it up because we
Well,
have to have
in
more
case they
space.
have
We've got to
something like
expand what
that.
we've got.
I would think so.
I mean, like I
Extension
said,
office, some kind.
maybe I could start at the extension office.
Okay.
Maybe we
So I
should
don't see
find that
anything
answer
in here
before.
about roosters.
It's
Well, it
right
says
here on the only female chickens
Oh,
slash
yes.
ducks.
Yes.
Roosters are not females.
But we had talked about
Even in
allowing
2023.
roosters.
We identify it.
Did we not?
The only one that we gave
No, I don't think so.
an exception to is
Right.
that people just to the east, just to the west of the grade school that has a zoo in their backyard.
Wish we could get rid of
What'd you say?
people she's in the 80s.
I swear.
Yes,
that
it would be
we
east.
were
Yes, sorry,
talking
east.
favorably about getting rid of chickens because I couldn't believe that you didn't comment on it. And we had somebody that was getting rid. Don't we have complaint from a citizen in town about a rooster that she had to get rid of? And
That cute little black rooster.
yeah, it was posted on
Nothing's-
Escrow. How does
Oh, yeah.
nobody know this?
I mean, nothing's come
I
into
know
City
that she
Hall.
had a rooster to get rid of.
And she's talked to the public officer, and
I love roosters.
I'm gonna have to rewatch
I
that
don't
meeting.
understand why
Yeah,
they
she
do.
had
And
a little rooster and she
Yeah, I
ended
don't
up
think we
having to
allow
give it away.
roosters at any
we
of the
don't
meetings.
allow roosters, but we
Why?
were talking favorably in doing so.
About a year ago, that girl, like Terry was
Yeah.
saying, up east of the
Yeah,
school
no.
brought a
This is when this girl
presentation.
was here talking about ducks and her allergy.
Mhm.
Roosters crow in the morning and the evening, dogs bark all night long, and yet we can't have a rooster. Because they.
So you
And we
Yeah.
can't control the dog problem we have in this town either.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
I don't have,
Do you want this on the
I
26th?
myself like roosters.
Let's find out some more information on the
Amy
space
Williams has a
before
rooster
I think we
across
should
the road
entertain
from County. I-
changing the number.
Increasing.
I agree. I agree.
I don't want to increase the number and find out that 8 was chosen by K-State for a reason. Because we were given that number by other towns.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I'll put that on the agenda for the 26th.
Council members, everybody hear that? What
Yes.
Tim was talking about just now.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do a little research and we'll postpone this foul ordinance until the June 26th meeting.
Okay.
Mr. Todd, you are up, I think. All
Do
right.
anything on the
RFP McGivern.
One foul subject to another.
Well, the request for.
Right.
Did we
That was
receive
fun.
anything yet?
Nope.
Were they sent out to anybody or?
I haven't seen anything on there at all.
Okay, well, I mean,
It's all still there.
well, I understand it's all still there. That's not the question. The question was whether you got a proposal to somebody to remove it.
Oh, here's the thing.
That's right. Yeah, no, we haven't got anybody that lined up to.
Well, we got the written request for proposal that we drafted, and was that sent to the usual suspects, or do we have usual suspects?
I was never given a list of names to send it to.
Okay, well, we need to. I guess that's the question. Does somebody have the dock people list who come out and build them, fix them?
No, we don't. And I thought that we had talked about having those people that are doing work on our shoreline come in so that the people that are doing the work would know the rules. But I don't think we've ever done that. I don't think we've required any of the contractors that do that to come in.
Okay, well, let's start with, does anybody have even an idea of who the people would be to do this? Because we gotta, we can't, it's the proposal sitting in file. We need to know what the cost is to remove it. So.
And it's a floating dock.
Yeah. Whatever it is, whoever.
I'm just thinking out loud. If it's a floating dock and we get our boat fixed, there's no reason why we can't float that floating dock over to the bait shop area and seize it there. And I say that because a lot of people have been building their floating docks at the beach and floating them from the beach and tugging them over to where they're going to go.
I don't know. I was just assuming that there was some kind of voodoo involved in removing those things or doing whatever work. I don't.
And it is if it's a stationary.
With pylons that are driven into it.
But I was thinking that this one is floating, which makes it much more easier to remove.
Okay, well, are we going to ask people to come in and remove and fix the shoreline, or are we going to remove it ourselves, or what are we going to do? Because that's the question. They have, thus far, McGivern has refused to comply with the order. I can do a motion, but ultimately the court's going to say, okay, you remove it, city, and then just we'll put that in the judgment. They have to pay.
And I say remove it and repair the shoreline.
Well,
but who's going to do that?
That's what we're looking for. Who's gonna
I would
remove
like
it?
to
Who's
get
gonna repair the
somebody
shoreline?
that has had experience of re-putting back disrupted area naturally, and not just somebody that has experience stacking stoned rock, because that's just giving them what they wanted in the first place.
Well,
and we want it to be
Well,
natural.
I would like to have the choice of, we don't have anybody.
Right.
Right.
And I would suggest that we get the motion to let the judge tell us to do it, since they're not doing it.
No,
And then-
I'm saying we
and
do both.
It buys us
Talk to
time.
Stoffer, talk to anybody.
Yeah, it buys us time to find out who we
Landscaping,
can get that can do this sort of
company?
thing.
You got Stouffer, who else would be rented?
Stoffer.
Stoffer, they're in Auburn.
And they're a landscaping company, but what I'm saying is more somebody that has had experience of putting something back naturally. Like, to me, they build retaining walls and whatever, and that's what I see. Maybe I'm wrong. I will personally talk to Stoffer, but
I mean, all they
I
can do
just
is.
see a
give you
retaining wall type
suggestions.
thing going back, which
No,
is
no,
not
no,
what
no,
we
no.
want at all.
Oh, yeah, I understand. And that's, well, I don't know what, I mean, we're still back at the situation where,
Maybe he can give you suggestions
yeah,
who
Yeah.
might do this kind of work.
But you still have to get rid of the dock, right?
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
And I haven't been down to it in a long time. I'll walk down and decipher if it's a floating dock or another one, because that's going to be a big factor of who you can get to do it.
It's still got a boat in it.
Well, understood. Well, that's part of
It's
what we're
part of the
gonna,
property.
We need a boat.
We do need a
yeah,
boat.
it's not our boat. But we get, yeah, I think I wanted to see that out
just
to
floated
people so that we got a timeline, meaning it's out, we've got it to the people, and they're mulling over, they're gonna get us bids within 30, 60 days.
Right. And
And then I
yes,
file it when I know it's out there
Right.
and we're
Yes,
moving
I
it.
agree 100%.
If we don't have any knowledge of anybody,
Then we can't go with the motion. If we
Yeah.
don't have knowledge of somebody that can do it, we can't go with the motion, because we get the motion in our favor, we won't be able to do anything because
or
Michelle don't
imagine-
want to take a boat out there and haul it back. As an example, you know,
And,
we-
and it could be the fact that we could ask to do any number of things. I could say, one, we get, there's a company that does it and we believe it's a good company because it's our property. We don't want to get some fly by night group. A good company to do this, and this is what it costs, and this is what we want. But they're only going to do the shoreline, and they're only going to fix this. We got it with the dock guys with this, or the dock guys just say they would unhook it. And we think we could take it and we could take it to a place where they could pick it up. I don't know. The dock is not our property. The dock is their property, but ultimately we could remove it to an area to store it.
and then we're responsible for maintaining that thing, but for it don't get destructed.
Okay, if there's no way that we can claim that dock because they left there and it's always going to be theirs, then I bet we leave it there, because they're gonna have to remove it, and us moving it somewhere else makes it much more easier for them to do so. And I'd rather not do
Well, they're
that.
gonna. I mean, what does it cost? You need to have.
Yeah.
You need to have compliance. I mean, you need to have the person who did this to have your orders taken into effect.
Can't we pay somebody to take that dock, even though it's floating, drag that dock all the way up the shoreline onto their property and leave it right there? It's their dock, but on their property.
If it fit, I don't know what, it's kind of a steep grade. I kind of worry about it, but hell, why not? I was thinking about, they can, for all I care, they can take it around to the dock, pull it up, and dump it off in the front yard.
Okay.
No front yard.
Yeah, well, I don't have a bunch of a backyard either, but,
No.
or, you know,
Whatever works. If you have to put it between two trees on the side.
Now they have a tree house.
well, but I mean, that's, if there's not a process to do this, I mean, I don't know there's anybody has any suggestions, even knowledge of who's been here before, because I know there was one guy who was here who's, I mean, do they have to fill out on their dock application who's doing the work?
If you pull it up on shore, you're going to destroy the dock because it's a floating dock. There's not a lot of structure there. I'm afraid you just destroy the dock.
Do we have any liability in that? If it's destroyed by us removing it?
I don't know why we would, but I can make that clear. That our duty in this is to take the property from the location on our property and remove it. It is not, we're not preserving it for any particular purpose. If they want to preserve it for a particular purpose, then they should remove it safely.
So we take possession of it, put it somewhere over on the North Shore for the time being, since we own that, and we put it up for sale and try to offset some of the cost of loss.
But that's not ours to sell.
Yeah, we can't sell it all.
No, it's part of mitigating the nuisance, but
Yeah, but we don't take possession of it.
yeah, that's too bad. It's unfortunate.
Well, that's
How long does that have to sit there before we can take possession of it?
There is no rule about that. Essentially, it's their property.
Can we charge them storage fee?
Oh, that's a problem.
All this is going to be.
Like how do we, when we abate a property in town and we were to
We're not
take
abating
somebody's,
anything.
I know, but if we were going to take somebody's personal vehicle,
We're not. We wouldn't. We can't treat this like an abatement. If there was a car on city property that was identified as Tim's car, licensed, fully capable, and it was there, and it had not moved in a while, you remove it. He's not here. It's going to the. You call up the guys, and it goes to the junkyard. It goes to the impound lot. The impound lot guys say, if you don't come in, we're going to get a repo title. And we're going to, we're going to get rid of it. That's not a problem. It's trespassing. It's removed.
In the meantime, they rack up the fees for it existing on their property.
Extraordinary fees.
Yeah.
The what fees?
Whoever comes and impounds it.
Yeah, well,
you got to get it out of the that.
so why
condition.
can't we impound it and do the same thing?
We can ask, but there's just no format for that. I mean,
We
all
can only
this.
be told no or yes.
Yeah, well, that's what the judge is going to do. He's going to say yes or no. But I think we got to present him with a plan, right? To say, we have contractor X who's going to fix the shoreline, and we have contractor Y who will take the dock safely or not safely remove it and do whatever. Or we say, there's an alternative here that we still have contractor X do the shoreline, but we take the dock, because we can't find anybody to remove it. We take the dock and we store it someplace, and then every day it stays there, it's X amount. And see what the judge says. And if he says no,
I'll call around.
I just
have
feel like that if
information
we charge them
from somebody.
a storage fee like Tim was talking about, that we would have some responsibility to make sure that boat dock or whatever doesn't get stolen or damaged.
yeah,
If we're
they gotta
charging the fee
figure-
for it.
I never had to figure that. I never had to research that. that kind of that's where those impound lots are kind of secure, is because
Yeah.
they don't want anybody walking off with the stuff,
And
including the owner.
And we don't have a fence at the lake to impound a floating dock. We barely got room for a dog cage out back. There's no impounding in the back of the building. I just think
Well,
that
why
we need
would
to
we
find
not?
out who can
Yeah,
remove this
could
stuff.
we place it in a place where we have control of it that still floats? It wouldn't cause a problem then, right? Assuming it's tied down someplace securely. It's not gonna get damaged generally that way, except, somebody accidentally hitting it. It's, that's about as safe as it gets.
And you gotta lock it down or it's gonna be a disappearing dock by 3 a.m.
Well, I mean,
Where would it go, Terry?
That's what I'm saying. No matter where we put it out there, it has to be tied down and locked up somehow.
It's
so it
pretty
can't be moved.
conspicuous.
Yeah, how's
nobody's
somebody
gonna
gonna
take it.
steal it?
yeah, I'm saying locked down so it's not, so say
Are
it
they in
floating.
sections if it's floating? I mean, can they take the sections apart?
Tubs.
But
They
then
could
that,
disassemble.
somebody would definitely see that happening.
I can see it happening.
Yeah.
See what happened, taking it apart.
Yeah.
Taking it apart and removing
by
it from the
piece.
lake
But
after.
when we seize the dock, it's probably gonna have that boat on it. So I mean, they don't get their boat back till they abate the dock.
Well,
that the
I'm
boat's
thinking
on.
that the motion that I'm planning on filing with the court is gonna say the petitioner or the defendant is required to remove their boat by court order. Remove their boat, remove their floaties, remove their boat coats, remove their
All their personal items.
popcorn. Whatever they got in there, it's out for removal. Now, yeah. So
Well, I have a question just because I've come in late on this whole thing. So the request for proposal was to remove the dock and repair the shoreline?
Yep.
Is that's what the
Oh,
request?
and I think I can't remember what I wrote, but I'm pretty sure it was like and or.
Okay,
So,
okay.
but yeah, it was, you could do both. You could do replace both, one or the other, or whatever you wanted to do.
Okay, okay.
Then we would take it under, and that was my idea being is that once the people come here and say, okay, that's gonna cost you X amount of money.
And then you
Then
would
I can-
take that
I
back
go
to
to-
the judge.
I go to the judge and say, this is what the estimate we
Okay.
got. These guys are quality people. This is what we want to do. Since they haven't complied voluntarily. like,
Okay.
yeah. Has anybody been out to the given property? Need time recently?
I've been out there, but I haven't walked down to it. But it's there.
Well, I mean,
You can see it from the
there was a question about the fact that there were some survey stakes out there that Mr. McGivern's attorneys did not understand them to be the survey stakes that their surveyor had done. I just want to figure out if anybody from the city had been down there for any reason. Okay.
Is Kivitz next to that?
Yes.
I mean, because, or am I confused with a different property right over there was for
Well, it's-
sale? No, it was.
Kivitz is next to Hoffenstein.
No,
who is
it's the
next
other.
to McGivern, right?
I don't know Kivitz, but Hoffenstein is next to McGivern.
Who?
Sophistein selling their place or something, or?
No,
Haven't heard.
the one
No,
next to it,
I'm
which
thinking
is
the other one, the other direction. There was McGivern and Hummer, and then McNellis. That's the one I was thinking of. The survey stick would be on the wrong. That's a different.
Yeah, that's
location.
just somebody's
Yeah.
in error. I mean, because they surveyed it, and I guess they were surprised to find out their lot wasn't as deep as they thought it was.
That's what I said, because not only the shoreline and the dock, they have a sidewalk with a bench area and a storage shed that's actually on our property as well.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
has not been approved or.
Yeah, the storage shed, when I was there, they had the storage shed, they had the sidewalk coming down partway. The bench I thought was on their property. It was torn out because it was on the hedge that was torn out. And they still had the light fixture base. Like the power that had run. But that was it. So I said that no one had been out there that I knew of to survey anything or do anything.
Not
Right.
on behalf of the city.
Yeah, but I had mentioned the fact we're doing a request for proposal, so it's open. So I just like to be on a track to where we know that we can go to the judge to say, this is what we're gonna do, one way or the other. Because I can imagine him saying, until you figure out what you're gonna do with this
Right,
thing.
yeah.
I mean, they haven't done it, that's all, that's part of the game, or whatever it is. The court's ready to have you remove it. And, or do whatever. So,
There actually is a towboat hooked up to the city dock over by the bait shop that has like a winch on it, and I think it's been parked over by Shutters. Are you familiar with the one that I'm talking about? And it had a bunch of stuff on it. Over by Mike Turnbull and Shutters by Ian Schutz, and it was like a monstrosity of stuff. It's now over at the dock at the bait shop, and the person is supposed to be coming in tomorrow to get it. But it's been there since last year, and they didn't permit it last year, and it is not permitted this year. So Mary Jane's going to be hitting them up for a permit because it's been on our water with no permit when he comes to pick it up.
Don't open a gate until they pay it.
She won't.
so what are
Yeah,
we,
she's
so
a
we're,
pit bull.
is somebody gonna be looking for people to send this RFP to, or, I mean, I'll do the motion.
Contractors to.
Yeah,
Okay.
Now, what are you calling about, people?
I was
to
gonna
get-
call Stauffer. I was actually gonna call the State Wildlife and Parks and ask if they suggested anybody to contract out for the shoreline or just
yeah,
the-
shoreline restoration.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I can call someone to pick it.
Mhm.
I say hold off on the motion till we get answers.
Well, can we just plan on next meeting if people to track down whomever they can and then come back with names?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Done deal.
Is the CMB license for the beer garden at the park?
Yeah.
I move to approve.
Second.
Justin,
Motion to
did you
approve.
second?
Yeah, I think so.
What is it for?
It was for the beer garden license for the park over the symphony weekend.
Oh,
Retroactive.
it's
Yeah.
due and then get
Retroactive.
permission.
Well, it's because it was.
I got the 25.
All right, we have a motion to approve the CMB license for the past weekend by Brett and seconded by Justin. Any further comments? Those in favor? Okay. 4-0. Continuing council business, approval of the city employee handbook. Now, do we have it in our
I
packet?
emailed it to
Oh,
everyone.
the one you emailed.
I looked at it in the email.
I've got a copy here if somebody needs to look at it.
Looked good to me.
What kind of copy of that?
I had no
What kind?
problem with it.
You said you have a copy.
I second it.
Approve, so.
Motion to approve the city employee handbook as written by Tim, seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Passes 4-0.
Have that done.
Finally.
Who has information on the fire
Time
department?
started
Porta
again for
potties.
this year.
Well, you'd asked me to put it, John Taylor had
Hush your mouth.
emailed and was like, and the fire department, I think, is footing all the bill.
They just
You'd
want,
asked me to put it on the agenda.
okay, so
They
they
wanted to
just,
put a porta potty at the park for the lineup of the ATV, UTV ride. And then they were gonna put 2 porta pots out at the firehouse.
and this is all at their expense.
Yeah.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion to approve the request by the fire department for porta pots by Brett, seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Those in favor? It passes. And while we're talking fire department, I can't believe they haven't asked, they're not in here tonight asking for 4th of July money.
I move to donate the
Well,
$1,000.
it's not even up yet. They may not even want anything because I'm just surprised they haven't come in and asked for it yet. We did a budget meeting and I think that's what we approved. Went it up to 1,000 at that budget meeting when we did that. You and Michelle were here.
It's something we know about every year. It's
Yeah.
consistent, so,
I still move to approve to give it to him.
yeah.
Second.
And did you hear what his amount was?
Yes,
Okay.
1,000.
Yeah, okay. So we have a
Seconded.
Michelle. Right, so we have a motion by Brett to approve $1,000 for the fire department's 4th of July celebration that the public will enjoy. Seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
And then just in case you guys haven't heard, the fireworks are on the 3rd with the rain date on the 4th.
And I just have a quick question. I mean, it really doesn't matter too terribly much, but since the fireworks are out at the lake, is that coming out of the lake fund?
Mhm.
The $1,000? Okay.
I mean, that's historically where it's always come.
Okay.
Should we raise the dock fees another $10 a person to pay for that? Giving Richard Gary a hard time.
So you're proposing a 2024 increase of $10 in dock fees?
No.
I think that'd fly.
And you know what, Richard, in all honesty, 10 or 11, 12 years ago, the last time they raised dock fees, if they had been doing it $10 a year all along, it'd fly every year.
Yeah.
And we'd be at the same place we're at today without all the headache that we had to get here today.
I'm sure you're right.
So that will be, in my thoughts, this fall when we do our budget for next year. Office hours. Lisa and I both have a concern with her office hours at least until we get somebody hired.
Do we have any applicants for?
I have one coming in Wednesday to do some skill test.
And then it's not the same person that I thought was coming in
No.
tonight. Okay. So there's still one out there. I'll call her and find out, are you coming or not? Maybe she has a hidden problem and didn't want to tell me about it. This is just a way to keep quiet and not do anything.
And no maintenance?
I was just gonna add on to that. There have been 2 that Mike has looked at, but that's about as far as it's gone. So,
Okay. Did they fill out applications?
yes.
So can we see
So,
those applications?
Yeah, we're the ones that should be reviewing that.
Do you wanna
I
do
can
that?
appreciate Mike's input.
True. I mean, if you want to call it executive session, otherwise it's an open record, right? Employment applications.
No,
Okay.
the only problem would be is if you put it in a packet
Oh, okay.
for a meeting.
Okay.
So you could separately have it available. We'd probably place it, have people come by and pick it up. Or you could email it, I think, too, directly to you, as long as you.
We'll have personally
Respond.
identifiable information on it, so I don't think that's generally allowed to be seen, somebody's like social security
Right.
number, for
Okay.
instance, so.
Okay. I had Lisa during the month of May, was it? Had you
It
keep
was
tallies?
April and May, yeah.
April, a 30-day stretch, do a survey of all the walk-ins and what time of day they were coming in and phone calls and what time the phone calls are coming in. And I didn't bring it with me. It's in my inbox in here, that survey. But basically what it boils down to is an average of 3 contacts between 8 and noon and 3 between 1 and 4.
No, I think it averaged out. It was like
Like
3.5 calls
Well, 3.5,
a day.
yeah. And
3.5 walk-ins
Walk-ins.
a day. Terry had went more.
I went into
in
more detail because I was
as
looking
far
at
as
what
the
kind of
AM,
hours they were
PM,
coming
but-
in. And that was for a 30-day stretch. Now, whether that's true every single month, we don't know because we don't keep a survey every single month. But that one month was just a general idea. I'm concerned because Lisa, anybody that deals with Social Security before the age of 65 is restricted to the number of hours they work or the amount of money they can make in a year's time. And if we don't get some help in here soon, Lisa's going to be without a job because she'll have to quit. So that's why I had her do the survey so I can pass it along to you guys to suggest that until we get this survey, until we get this other person hired, that we reduce the office hours so that Lisa doesn't run into this problem.
I think that's a great idea. What hours do you want us to move it to?
You know, I would be open. I was thinking 8 to 12, maybe one Monday, Wednesday,
Yes,
Friday,
I was thinking about that too.
or 5 days a week. Or I would do like 12:30 to 4:30 Tuesday and Thursday if the afternoons. You know,
For afternoon people and morning people.
Oh, okay. Like in the same week or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be around 20 hours.
Yeah, be
Yeah,
20
I
hours,
was
that's
20
basically
hours.
20 hours a week.
I mean, we knew this was gonna be happening if we didn't get
Well, who'd
anybody
have thought
hired.
3 months down the road, we'd still be sitting in this position?
Yeah.
And I've told people, I enjoy the work. I really do enjoy the work, but I just, 40 hours a week, that's not what I signed up for.
Well,
So, but
and yeah, and I mean with the Social Security issue too, that's not fair to you
yeah, I can't,
to ask that of you either.
I
So
can't risk that. So, but if,
Yeah.
I do 8 to noon, 5 days a week, whichever the council. I don't know consistency.
I like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning hours and the Tuesday, Thursday afternoon hours.
I think it would help.
I like that too. I would think it'd be kind of a pain to manage on your end, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
Whatever works best for you.
if you're open to
we
it, that
will
sounds most
adjust.
appealing to us. But
We can,
I still believe we have to have both morning and afternoon. You're gonna have some people that
I
can't
just,
come in here in the morning for one reason or
it's the
another.
customer,
Right.
the customers that I don't want to put off and slide or anything, but.
And as long as we have that drop box available for them to make a payment, nobody has to be here when they bring it in.
We need a motion.
I don't think so. I just think we need, you think we do?
Well, no, you're
Well-
directing, as mayor, you're directing the office hours to be X.
I mean, and do
So
you
we
want
don't
it
need a
effective like July
Yeah,
1?
that's what I'm thinking. We don't need a
I mean, I
motion.
don't want to start it
Yeah.
tomorrow, but
Well,
I
no,
would say July 1.
July
is a good
1,
start date.
and that's
effective.
that's really a
And
3-week,
hopefully we'll
3-week
hire
notice.
somebody at the next meeting. We'll have to do it.
It's 4 weeks. Oh, yeah.
Well,
It'll be 3 weeks,
3 weeks from
I'm
today.
fine with doing it next week. I don't care. I mean,
starting July 1st. Office hours will be.
well, okay, I'm fine with that too.
Okay, I'm gonna direct the office hours be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 to noon, and Tuesday and Thursdays from 12:30 to 4:30.
Here.
Dolly had a good suggestion that we should change the answering machine, and then how would we go about changing our website and getting that done?
I can do that.
You can change the website? Okay.
Well,
to adjourn.
the answering machine, real quick, like
Nope.
because I
likely.
changed it to 7:30 to
You can drag it on another
4,
half hour?
the hours.
You should just change them to whatever you're going to do.
Oh, I thought you said,
Crash
I
it.
thought,
I'm
I
gonna leave.
misunderstood Brett. Yes,
Just so that when they call in,
Right.
they go, okay, I'll
You know,
call in this
yes.
afternoon.
Okay, but you do have a motion on the floor.
yes.
You got denied.
8:45, 46.
What was the motion? I didn't hear.
Motion to adjourn. but-
Adjourn.
Oh,
So they didn't call for a second yet.
That's because I have 3 things to report on.
Of course you do.
yeah, because we have mayor council concerns.
Sounds like mayor council concerns.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna start off with, I talked with Devater Concrete about the time frame now that the construction of the park sign is being done and the tube's gonna be being put in. He's not gonna be able to get to it till after July 31st, but it'll be sometime after July 31st because he's had to commit to other deadlines because we didn't have an exact date for him. So I touched base with him. Also, I had asked Lisa to reach out to Whitaker Plumbing to look at the park bathrooms to see if we could have anything reasonable done so that they could be open for at least some of the year. And I think it's basically that it's just clogged and it needs snaked or
Roto-rooted.
roto-rooted, maybe a toilet needs
Did you
replaced.
talk to John today, maybe? No, okay.
No. I know Lisa had asked them if we needed to get new toilets, if we could use those when we did remodeling of the bathrooms at a different time. He said we could absolutely reuse those toilets. So waiting on something back from him, but I just wanted everybody to know that the bathrooms aren't just sitting there not being thought of. Something's
good.
going.
That's good.
And it's back to Devater. There is a tree that's in the line of the path of where the sidewalk's gonna go, so we need to get that cut down sometime before the 31st of July.
I know a guy.
Great. And then basically just the last thing is, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but that the sign is being built and it should be done within like the next 10 days or so.
The sign is being built.
The welcome to historic Eskridge City Park.
Yeah, I noticed something the other day at the park, and I just saw it for the first time, and I think it looks ugly as hell. Seriously. And when they put a sidewalk in, at some point, there's a concrete slab by the curb, and it says Eskridge Park. And it looked like somebody took a stick and wrote Eskridge Park in the concrete. Have you
In
seen it?
that storm drain. It's the top
In
of
the
that
storm drain, yeah.
Have y'all seen that?
I've seen it, yeah. It's set in concrete. I don't know what you can do about it. But yes, aesthetically, it's not the most beautiful thing to have to see and look at. You are absolutely right.
But I guess it's not really that noticeable if I hadn't seen it ever since it was put down in there. But
Who was it done?
It was done after they poured it. Somebody came by and
Well,
just
I
put
understand, but when they poured it.
Eskridge Park
oh, that was last year.
Okay, well, I'm just like.
2 years ago.
For all I know,
actually.
it was like 1965 or something. See, they're going.
I should have got my grandkid up to put his handprints in there.
Is that it?
And yes, that was it.
Can I repeat my motion?
You may.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Tim, second by Michelle. Those in favor? We're adjourned. 8:50.
Oh, I did have something.
From Ron.
Well,
She handed me this receipt and said she had to go.
Justin, you're in charge of the city for the next 10 minutes. You know that, right? You know that, right? All
No,
complaints
actually,
go
you
through
don't.
Okay.
President of the council doesn't have executive authority outside of the meeting.
What was it? What